Hey guys, OGalbina here, bringing you guys our TGS Season 1 Week 7 battle against Zooch and his Long Island Lugias, I believe is the team name. Zooch has been making some great content this season. He's someone who's actually made a fair bit amount before TGS, actually. He makes great stuff. He's a great player as well, and he's helped out a ton when it comes to like admin work and things like that. So I'd really appreciate if you went and checked out Zooch in the description below, as well as all the other TGS coaches. We're coming up in playoffs, and while we might not be making playoffs this season, there's a ton of great coaches and great competition that will be fighting for the Season 1 championship. So I, really suggest you go check them out as we kind of wind down on the regular season. But despite us not making playoffs, we want to finish off strong, and I'm definitely still sweating these last few games. I want to win as many games as possible, despite our 0-5 start. We were able to take home our first win last week against A12, so if you guys are excited for us to potentially maybe get a second win, who knows? Be sure to drop a like on the video, as well as subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 5,000 subs by the end of the year. I'd really appreciate if you help me out along that journey. And yeah, with that being said, just want to do a quick little team build just so you can see what we're bringing, why we're bringing it, so you have the background knowledge and context going into the battle. If you want to skip ahead to the battle, just timestamp on the screen and in the description below on when that begins. Alrighty, that being said, you can look ahead as you see our team that we've had all season. And you see Zooch, which consists of Iron Valiant, Meowscarada, Terrapagos, Pekkarunt, Terraladios, which is a demon, Swampert, Corviknight, Terra Bellybolt, which is a demon, and Crocalor. Now, biggest threats to me in particular, I mean, Valiant is always scary, but my team in particular just doesn't have a switch into it at all, whether it be Scarf Band or Specs. I think all three are very, very viable against my team. Physical and Special also both very viable against my team, so we're going to have to be very careful about how we deal about that guy. Meowscarada is another Pokemon I don't particularly deal with well defensively. Offensively, I have a lot of things that can threaten it, but defensively, my team isn't great into it. Terrapagos is definitely scary and can get out of hand, especially like some kind of Rock Polish set, some kind of Meteor Beam set, some kind of Calm Mind variant. There's really a ton of things that it can do against me. Latias is always going to be scary, some kind of setup variant. With Terra, it becomes incredibly obnoxious, so we need to make sure we have anti-setup measures on the team, which we definitely do. And yeah, Pekkarunt can always be decently annoying. You see, we have some specified prep for that guy. First up, we have our Roaring Moon here. We're rocking out with the booster speed set this week. We're knockoff Acro, Dragon Dance Taunt. Does really well in this matchup, provided we can chip down things like Corviknight. Now, as long as it's decently chipped, if it switches in, takes a knockoff, we can taunt it, prevent it from roosting, and potentially 1v1 it, depending on his moveset and how low we are from, potentially taking body presses and things of the sort. But really, once the Corvi is chipped, the combination of knockoff plus acro goes crazy in this matchup. Things like Perdal's into each. Really, this is just a great endgame win condition. It's also great as a booster speed revenge killer to something like Valiant, to something like Meowscarada. As long as it's not choice, we'll be able to revenge that thing with a acrobatics in our booster speed. We still get a decent amount of attack as well. Then next up, we have Blaziken. We are choice specs Blaziken this week with Vacuum Wave, Fire Blast, Focus Blast, and U-Turn here. Modest, max special attack, choice specs Blaziken, and this thing does a lot of damage. I really do like the Vacuum Wave aspect. I like having something to revenge the Meowscarada, as well as something like the Terrapagos after it's chipped down. And that's Specs, Stab, Modest, Vacuum Wave, which does a decent amount, right? We have U-Turn to gain momentum on the likes of Pokemon like Latias coming in, but Latias, especially if it's more offensive, isn't going to appreciate taking choice specs Fire Blast, especially if we have Sun up. You can see we have Torkoal on the squad, but even Focus Blast and things like that, it's not going to appreciate it. It's going to force into a recover turn pretty quickly, because if it doesn't, it can definitely get smoked through. And once it Terras, it also isn't going to want to take hits, unless it's like, typing that resists or dual stabs, but I don't think that exists from a single typing. So if it Terras, it doesn't really check us anymore. And Focus Blast blows up Swampert. Then we have Primarina here. We are Liquid Voice this week with Moonblast, Encore, Flip Turn, and Psychic Noise. Very specially defensive set. This set is going to be a great pivot into the likes of Latias. Encoring that thing into Calm Minds, hopefully, so that we don't get absolutely smoked by it, is really my best way of, potentially not losing to that guy. I really like Psychic Noise plus Liquid Voice on the set, preventing things from like Corviknight from roosting, or even the likes of Terrapagos, Latias, Swampert, Bellybolt, Corviknight from getting their leftovers back when we click that move. I think that's really valuable. Moonblast is just a strong stab, hits a couple things super effective, really hard. Oko's Valiant, Meowscarada, and does lots of non-Terra Latias. Flip Turn gains its momentum as we Encore lock things, put things in uncomfortable positions, get a Flip Turn out, get into Blaziken, maybe click a button. So we'll see. Then we have our Raging Bolt here. We are Terra Electric this week with Volt Switch, Draco Meteor, Discharge, and Thunderclap. A very, very bulky variant, very, very specially defensive. Once we Terra Electric, one, our Thunderclaps and Discharges are going to do a ton of damage. But two, we take a lot of things better neutrally. Things like Valiant, things like Latias. We're going to be able to take those hits a little bit better. We can Discharge Para through all those guys. I mean, something like Valiant, when Sun's up, we just OHKO it with Thunderclap with the Terra Electric, which is also really, really valuable. But again, things like Latias, once they Terra, being able to get off a Terra Electric Discharge, it does a decent amount of damage, and can Para, puts us in a good spot. We outspeed any non-Scarfers once they're paired with Discharge, and we can go to work and do some work. Swampert is obviously an issue for a mono Terra Electric set, but we're modest Draco. If that thing wants to come in and take a fat Draco to the noggin, that just means we're more opened up with our Moon, with our Blaziken, even with guys like Prim and things like that. So I do expect Swampert to be very pressured when it comes in this game, and that's going to allow something like Raging Bolt to go to work. Then we have an Assault Vest, Copperajah. In this game, we are Iron Head, Heat Crash, Earth Power, and Knockoff with a Sheer Force set. You can see we are nice and funky EVs there, 168, 128, 20, and 192 with a Brave Nature. Now that 20 special attack is actually so that we can 2-hit KO a P.E.K.K.A. run with no item, which obviously we have Knockoff for, with a Sheer Force boosted Earth Power. This is going to be my switch into P.E.K.K.A. because I really, really struggle with that Pokemon, if you can't tell. I really don't deal with it well. This thing's going to be immune to Malignant Chain, and we take absolutely nothing from Shadow Balls. Obviously, it can potentially baton or Parting Shot out, and you know, we at least get knockoffs there and things like that. Heat Crash is still doing a decent amount, just something like Corviknight when the sun's up, especially. So definitely not a terrible Pokemon in this matchup. I think Raj is actually going to put in some work. And then lastly, we got a Fizz Def Torkoal. We are Helmet, because I expect to get knocked anyways. We are Lava Plume, Rapid Spin, Stealth Rock, and Yawn. Helmet is going to be our main switch into Meowscarada, which, as you can tell, we definitely struggle with. It also gets up rocks. It's Yawn to anti-setup on things like Latias and Terapagos if we're ever in that position. Even something like Booster Speed Valiant, you know. We need to make sure that that thing can't sweep us. We can always Yawn and put ourselves in an okay spot afterwards, but yeah, that is going to be the team. I'll be right back with the battle. Alrighty, gang, here we are, the battle against Zooch. We see what he brought. We are rocking out with, or he is rocking out with, the Terapagos, Meowscarada, the Pecharunt, the Valiant, Terra Poison, Latias, and then the Swampert. Okay. Now, how do we want to lead in this game? I wasn't super well prepared for a lead scenario, I guess, just yet. I think what I want to do, though, I think the lead on his end is either something like a Pert or Meow. But I don't think it's going to be Meow when I have the Torque with me, right? Because I just stuff any kind of spike set. I Plume, I Spin. Like I feel like it's super free in that regard. So I kind of want to lead Prim because it really scares that Swampert in my opinion. And I want to kind of threaten that guy. So I think I am going to go with Prim. And those were kind of the two main I was thinking about. Good luck, have fun. Obviously, 2 Zooch. Hopefully, we can keep our winning ways going. By winning ways, I mean literally 1 week last week. I'd like to end out the season strong, make the season look a little bit better. So we do see Pert lead, and this makes me think you want to scout. I don't think you want to sack this immediately. So what I want to do, I think, is I can just Moonblast, because there isn't a great Moonblast switch in, right? Yeah, Moonblast is pretty free. I'm just going to Moonblast. He can stay in. If he stays in, it's great chip. And his Moonblast resist is something like P.E.K.K.A. which I feel like I actually switch into pretty darn well right now. And it's not like he switches into the Latias super well right now, right? He hasn't Terra'd yet, so I feel pretty comfortable doing so. We do just hit a Moonblast. He's going to go ahead and get up his rocks, which is interesting. And then from here, I think I'm just going to go ahead and I really wish I was E-Ball. I would have smoked this thing on lead. But I'm going to go ahead and just click Moonblast again. Again, there's not really a switch in, right? His really only switch in is something that resists rocks on my team, so I feel pretty comfortable going into Raj after. I'm gonna get a crit there, which is fire. Okay. He's gonna knock off my leftovers. Again, unfortunate for me, but not the end of the world. This really helps out my Terra Electric Bolt, man. Like, my Bolt looks so strong now. I'm just gonna Moonblast. Like, I'm just gonna Moonblast. I feel no pressure in doing anything else. We're gonna Moonblast. He does Flip Turn out, and that's Torn boosted, so it does a decent chunk. But this guy still lives pretty much any hit. in general right now. So I think I am going to make the pivot out and a big Torkoal. Spikes do go up. I'm going to see... Is it worth getting my rocks up, or is it worth yawning? I don't think you want to go Petron, right? Let's check. Pick a run. Pick a run. Pick a run. Because, yeah, if I like Lava Plume in the sun, does a decent chunk. His Malignant's going to do a decent amount. Shadow Ball also does a decent amount. I could just get up my rocks now, try and spin later on Meow. I feel like that's valid. Because I really like my rocks here, right? I really like my rocks here. He is going to U-turn. He's not choice. He is going to take some chip there, too, for my helmet. Sorry, I skipped the turn again. I always be doing that shit. Yeah, so he's going to go Peck Run. Trying to block the spin. I get up my own rocks, which is nice. Then from here, I'm just going to go Raj, right? This guy doesn't get Wisp or any way of burning me. So I feel pretty comfortable doing so. I feel pretty good about it. We'll see. We'll see. But I feel pretty good about it. He's got a Malignant Chain. Just not going to do anything. And then from here, I think I could just knock. It's going to kill the Pert on switching, which is probably the sack, but it also just deals with most other things on the squad, right? So I'm just going to knock. Get rid of an item. We do see a Hex. Okay. He is Colbur. We pop that immediately. I'm just going to Earth Power now. Yeah, we do a decent chunk there. We take those. I'm just going to click it again, right? I mean, another thing I could do is I can click Knock in case I think that he's going to switch out into something like Pert, something like Lottie. I think I can just... Oh, he is going to... Okay, so he is going to get it. I really wish I knocked. So he's Parting Shot, Malignant Chain, Hex. So having this around is still good. But yeah, at least we know that. We know that going forward. So all good things. All good things. We're not in a terrible spot yet, basically. So Pert's going to come out. We're going to Earth Power again, and we do knock it out from 10. Thank God. So our Biggie Bolter looks crazy right now, dude. Biggie Bolter looks crazy right now. I can kind of just click Discharge the whole rest of the game and be in a good spot. Like, I could just click Discharge and be in a great spot. I outspeed everything when they're paired, too. I'm boost, so I don't have to worry about hazards. The Pert's gone, which really helps out with Blaziken just kind of clicking a button. Obviously, Latias is a little scary, but if it Terras, then... something it's going to have to deal with, obviously. So, yeah. And Specs Fire Blast in the sun is going to do a lot to it, right? Like, I do a chunk. So, you're not in a terrible spot. We are not in a terrible spot. At least right now. We'll see going forward, but... I don't know. I'm definitely a little bit worried right now. Okay, so we do see Copperajah Ghost come out. Okay. Now, I am a bit worried about this thing. I don't know per se what I can super do about this. Do I want to knock off this turn initially? He can Rapid Spin here, but I can get rid of this thing's boots going forward. And then potentially sack Torkoal, get into something like Bolt, and really threaten it. I think I am just going to knock. He's going to Flamethrower. He's not going to kill me, which is fire. We knock him off. Get rid of his boots. Good things. All good things, right? And then from here, I think I am just going to Iron Head. He's going to Rapid Spin. A little bit unfortunate, but we get off some good chip on this thing, right? We can get off some really good chip on this thing. He's going to Flamethrower and kill me. Now from here, oh my gosh. I'm going to mute. Okay, there we go. It ended. Sorry about that. There's some cooking going on in the front, obviously. Which is pretty unfortunate. Okay, cool. So we're gonna go Bolt. I want to see how much something like a Terapagos, Pigos, with what form? Stellar, right? That's this guy. Okay, let's see. Earth Power to my guy. How much is he doing? Terraform 0. Just not give him that. We're gonna go telepathy. Oh, it's Terrestrial. Okay, that's this guy. Okay. So my Terra Electric Discharge is doing 53 to 62. So I can go into that. And I think, unfortunately, that's really the only play I have right now. So we're going to get into our Biggie Bolter. We're going to click Terra Electric, and we're just going to discharge. Okay, only 38, which is good. We're going to get a discharge off. We're not going to get the para, unfortunately, and I'm just going to Thunderclap here. Just going to Thunderclap here. We'll pick this KO, hopefully. I'll pick this KO, hopefully. He looks like he's just a setup set, or just like a 4 attacks, like utility kind of set. So I feel pretty okay right now. I feel pretty okay right now. We'll see. He's gonna Thunderclap. Okay, so we're gonna knock him out. Good things. All good things. I'm glad we went Terra Electric here. I was kind of iffy on it, but I felt like the Pert was going to be forced to take damage, and I was right. It went down pretty early. So down that goes, which is good. Our Bolt is still very, very useful in this game. Low-key, something I want to do is I low-key want to just discharge into whatever comes in, potentially. Because it's not... Unless it's P.E.K.K.A. Run. Right? I really don't like discharging into the P.E.K.K.A. Run right now. That scares me. So that could potentially not be the move. We're also really close to winning with Big Moon, right? Like, we're super close to winning with Moon. Really, it's only the Lottie that's at full right now that can take it on. This thing's in range now. This thing's in range at +1, especially when our booster's gone. The Meowscarada's going to come out. Is it the play to go into Torkoal? Is it the play to go into Torkoal? Do I want to save this? I know the Meow is not choice. I'm Terra Electric. I feel like I can just Draco, potentially. I feel like I can just Draco, potentially. I can also go into Blaziken and kind of just sack it off. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Blaziken, sack it off. I think I'm going to go Blaziken. Protean. It's a bit unfortunate. Just going to do a lot of damage. 37. And into Blaziken. How much did that do? 37. Okay. So I don't think he actually 2-hit KOs me. Most of the time. Especially because he's already Protean there. So Flower Trick. Knock is not stab. From 37. What is the likely chance? 43. I'm gonna Fire Blast. I'm gonna Fire Blast. I'm gonna try to do some damage. We'll see, but I'm gonna try and do some damage. Just gonna try and do some damage. We'll see, though. I'm very worried about that Latios right now. We'll see, but I'm very worried. And being Protean is helping me out here, too, because the knock isn't... I mean, I guess it doesn't... No, it's actually helping him out, because I'd be able to pick him off with a Vacuum Wave otherwise. But yeah. I kind of wish he knocked there. He's going to sack off P.E.K.K.A. Run. Okay, we take those. We're going to get a Speed Boost. Kind of skipped turn there. Again, I apologize. My bad. Valiant. Scarf Val. Specs Val? Okay. I did a shit ton. Let's check. Valiant. Trish Specs with Vacuum Wave. How much was my Blaziken at? It was at 37.5. If you're not Specs, you do not kill with that. So, something I can do is I think I can just go Prim. That's Specs. I'm just gonna Moonblast. I pick something here. I think going Prim here is the move, right? Because I can Encore the Latias into anything. He's going to sack the Meow. All good things. Again, all good things. Latias is going to come out. I'm going to go ahead and just click Encore. He's going to Terra Poison. He's going to Agility. Okay. And now from here... Psychic Noise if he's Terra Poisoned. Is it my play to Flip Turn and Yawn? Yeah, I think so. I think it's my play to Flip Turn and Yawn. I think it's my play to Flip Turn and Yawn. This gives me a Vacuum Wave liver, too. A guy who lives Vacuum Wave. And then, another thing I could do, actually. Let's go Biggie Bolter. Can Bolt do enough? With Discharge Perils? I don't think so. I don't think I feel super comfortable in doing so. So we are going to Flip Turn. I'm going to get into Torkoal. I'm going to Yawn. If this is Lum, I'm fucked. So maybe that wasn't the play. So he is going to get out there. Into the Latias. I think right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to Rocks up. If he lets me. So we got away hazards, which is really nice. We know he specs, right? So we know he has to lock potentially. I know that I can always prevent him from winning with the Latias. He's going to Moonblast. I think, okay, so let's look. Specs, Valiant. Toy Specs. With Moonblast, I have Terra Electric. 56. We're at 61. We do be living this. I am just going to Discharge. He could go hard into the Latias. I don't think he should, though, right? Because part of me really just wants to Discharge. Like, part of me really wants to Discharge and do as much damage as possible. I'm just gonna Discharge. Oh, is it my play? Is it my play Discharge or is it a Thunderclap? I'm trying to think of, like, the potential downside, right? I think it's a Thunderclap. I think it's a Thunderclap. Because he can't switch hard Latias. He can't switch hard Latias. Like, he physically cannot. Yes, okay, cool. So he made the right play there. Sun is going to go away. I am going to Volt Switch out. I can also just Discharge, potentially. And punish a Calm Mind. I think I'm just going to spam Discharge. I think I just spam Discharge. He's going to Dragon Pulse. Para? Let's go. Biggie Bolter picking up the win. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, GG's. Look at us. 2 in a row, baby. We will take those. That is double the amount of wins that we had before this game. So we take those. GG to Zooch. I think I played that game really well. I'm actually really happy with how I played that. I think I played around his offense really well. And I think Terra Electric Bolt was the right call. I'm really glad I ended up making that because I was really contemplating going a different defensive typing. But I really like Terra Electric here if I could get rid of that Swampert. So I'm definitely really, really happy with how he played. And again, we're not making playoffs, but we're ending the league on the right foot, which is good. Next week, I believe we take on Habita, and his kill leader's Rude, and that's not going to be fun, but we got 2 wins, right? So we're sitting pretty. We're doing a lot better. But thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you enjoyed, drop a like. If you're new here, drop a sub. See you guys next time. Later.